What's wrong with your tooth?
It's perfect now.
You have a loose tooth?
Yes, you didn't know that? This tooth. Home.
Welcome to this special edition of Gather Round Table Talks, the podcast. I think we have a treat for you tonight. I'm not real sure. I'm kind of second guessing this whole experiment that we're fixing to do. And if you haven't figured it out yet, got my kids with me. Tonight we're going to change it up a little bit. The whole journey on this podcast, we're going to interview all kinds of people and a lot of kids from the youth group and a lot of maybe even some older kids at heart. But tonight we're going to start at home and we're going to interview our kids. Buckle up. You're in for a ride. Hi, Lorelai.
Hi.
How are we doing today?
Yeah.
You ready to be grilled?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for being a good sport. Daddy finds these weird, obscure things to do, and you guys get involved, right? At least, your hobbies that you get into, that benefits everybody. Like tonight, you cooked.
Yeah.
What'd you make?
Breakfast nachos.
Yeah, man, you did. They were awesome. Very good. I need you to keep that recipe and let's do it again. All right, so we've talked about prayer before, right? Oh, yeah. That's not a new thing for you at all. You know exactly what prayer is, don't you? Probably pray a lot before those tests you take, right? In college?
You're reading my paper.
Hey, I know. I just know. I prayed a lot in college as well. So, what does prayer mean to Lorelai personally?
I think it's if it's not the most amazing thing we have, it's one of the most amazing things we have because we're talking to the same God that made like the trees and the Grand Canyon and everything. I think that's really cool that we can
All inspiring, right?
that we can like bring our struggles to him and how he can help with those, and he also made everything.
On top of that,
Yeah.
which makes your concerns seem pretty minuscule on the whole scale of things, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so that you can
But
still.
does that make them any less significant to God?
No, it's amazing because you can still go to him with that, even with all the other amazing things he does.
Absolutely. So, what would you say? What role has prayer played in your life?
Well, it has helped through like stress and hard times, and it's very calming
Yeah.
because you know that
You're
you
not
gave
stressed
it
out
to
in this
someone.
house, are you? You don't get stressed out here. I mean, you don't have a 6-year-old brother that stresses us all out, do you? Why would we have to pray for that? He's a joy and a delight. But you have a lot of things on you being a teenager to think about. A lot of things you're looking for the future. You're trying to figure out your present, trying to get it all situated, figured out what you want to do with your life, all that good stuff. And that can cause some anxiety, right?
Yep,
So would you say that helps with that?
it does.
Yeah. So that makes it even more important to fit that in to your life, right? Hi, Lizard.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Is prayer important to you?
Very.
Very important.
Very. Very.
Yeah, prayer is important. Hopefully, y'all learned that, not just from us, but from folks at church, your grandparents, the importance of prayer. So, when we talk about prayer, what does that mean to you personally? What does it mean to Lizard?
It means a personal conversation with God. Obviously, you talk through Jesus. You go through Jesus, and Jesus takes that message to God. But it's a conversation with God that you pour your stress, like all your worries, all your stress, all your cares, and that goes to God, and He deals with it. That's with Him now, which is a blessing. It's a very good blessing. Yeah.
Very. A mediator, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Yes. Yes.
It's wonderful. You're not super old. You're kind of in the preteen
I'm
range here.
13, so technically, with that,
Well, still,
I don't
you've
know.
had enough life to have lived to have answered this question.
Yeah.
What role has prayer played in your life?
I feel like I already answered that one, kind of,
Kind of.
but it's really helped me get through a lot because I know I struggle with a lot sometimes. I know we all do. And it, like I said, it relieves stress, anxiety, and it really motivates you to get through life because you know that God will always be there.
Yeah.
Now,
It's a comforting thing,
yeah,
isn't it?
doesn't mean God's always going to that doesn't mean that prayer is going to come true, but you have the knowing that God will always be there through.
What will it be answered? Is it always the answer you're expecting?
No, it's not always the answer you're expecting. That's what I was trying to say. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
No, my next child is not a lantern, I promise. She just is conscious of being videoed, and that's okay. We will respect her wishes. She does not want to be videoed. So she's going to let her little Christian light shine right in the camera. Hi, Lou. How are you?
Good.
You all right?
Mhm.
You said you were tired.
I am really
Why are
tired
you tired?
because it's almost my bedtime.
It's almost your bedtime. You usually conked out here pretty soon.
Huh?
Yeah, are you usually conked out pretty soon about this time?
Yeah, but I'm still staying up tonight
You're staying up. Why are you staying up?
because it's a Thursday.
Because it's a Thursday. Okay, well, that's fine. As long as you get everything done that you need to get done. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Lou, what do you know about prayer? Do you know how to pray? We I think we've been over this a few times, yeah. So what does prayer mean to you, Lou?
Talking to God.
Talking to God. Is that it? Are you
Yes.
that tired? We'll get very brief answers.
Yeah, most of them are really short.
It's okay. All right. So, what role has prayer played in your life? What do you pray every day?
Mm-hmm.
You do. Um, do you notice a difference in things sometimes when you pray? Like when
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're worried about something, or you're afraid, or
Mm-hmm.
do you
So I
pray
guess
when
it's
you're
kept
thankful?
me safe.
Mhm.
So I guess it's kept me safe.
Yeah, especially during storms, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with that. Um, what about when you're happy? Is that a good time to pray as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Do we always do that though? Sometimes it's easy to forget when we're happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, when you're thankful for something, do you pray or should you pray?
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard to remember that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stop everybody.
You do. Yes, you do. You have a loose tooth.
Daddy, you're making fun of me again.
I'm not making fun. I've had a tooth fall out before. You know how many teeth I've lost before?
What?
All of them. I ain't got a tooth in my head right now. See? Ah! All right, Jude. Do you know what it means to pray?
Um,
Do
talk
you?
to God.
To talk to God? Really?
Yeah.
Good answer. All right. So, Jude, I'm going to have to change these questions up a little. He's not going to understand it. Jude, what does prayer mean to you? Do you pray a lot?
Sometimes
Sometimes? What kind of things do you pray for?
For nachos and Scooby-Doo.
Okay. Interesting answer. Uh, um, your life has been 6 years total. So this is going to be kind of a short answer. What role has prayer played in your life? Can you think of a time that maybe you were scared or you were afraid or you were hoping that someone would feel better? And do you pray for them? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to go by so quickly with him. Well, let's talk about that. How do you incorporate prayer into your daily routine?
So like besides meals and
Yeah, besides meals.
I do it in the morning and at night,
Okay.
and I have a notebook and I write stuff in it that I want to pray for.
Yeah, you have a prayer list too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, because a while back we went to this youth thing and Jerry Elder spoke,
Yeah.
and he was talking about how he had like a notebook of people that he prayed for.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I should do that.
Yeah, I believe that was Sylvan Springs.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that was a good discussion. Jerry did a good job on that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's very helpful advice. Because I mean, you can try to keep a mental notes, and I've tried to do that before, and actually not until very recently this year when I've really tried to be real deliberate about routine about making specific times during my day to pray. Having that list has helped me out tremendously to focus because my mind is like a pack of squirrels on energy drinks. They just everywhere. And if I don't focus with that list, then I can chase those caffeinated squirrels all over the place, and who knows where I'll end up. So having that list is great. So you have a notebook, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Sometimes that list is a little longer than others, right?
Yeah.
It gets amended.
Right now it's pretty long.
Right now it's pretty long. Yeah, well.
Grandparents.
Yeah, they keep breaking stuff, don't they?
Yep.
What are we going to do with these grandparents? They just, they stay out late. They run off to Florida. And the next thing you know, one of them's running in church and tearing his leg up. Just like they told us not to.
Yep.
So.
And
but we're praying that his leg heals and that he doesn't run in church anymore, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Another time I like to is before I get dropped off at school. Or before I drop myself off at school. And especially during, like, before driver's ed happens.
I'm sure your teacher, I'm sure Brett does a lot of praying as well with all them kids driving him around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would pray too if I had you guys driving me around. I do pray. I remember, hey, you remember that first Sunday you drove me to church to worship that morning, and I think I prayed the whole way. I didn't do it out loud, but man, I
you
was
sure
proud
jumped
of
out
you,
of the
though.
car fast.
I did. I got on stable ground as fast as I could because I was thankful. I had prayed for that. But no, yeah. No, but I'm proud of you. You're doing a really good job with your I kid a lot, but I really do pray about this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's a little easier to handle now. But. All right. So, how do you incorporate prayer into your daily routine? You get up, you start your day the lizard way. Where does prayer fall into that?
When I wake up, before like we go walking in the mornings, and I know they're like chop chop, get up, and I like to lay down in bed.
Mom wants you to get moving right away,
Yeah,
right?
I do not want to wake up,
That's
and they're
fine.
like, okay, it's time to get up. I'm like, give me 1 minute, and in that minute, I try to pray, and it takes me a while. So, yeah, and then when I go to lay down for bedtime, every hour I just try to like pray some, like, because you need it to get through life. And when I eat and when I feel stressed, that's when I pray.
Okay.
And I also pray when people need prayed for.
That's
So,
good.
I try to. I know, like, I was watching y'all's podcast the other day,
Mhm.
and where Tom said, like, when someone comes forward, they need prayed for,
Mhm.
and you'll say prayed for, and you'll say, "Oh, I'll pray for you."
Mhm.
Well, like he said, do it then because you might forget.
Procrastination is a very tempting thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, how do you said you pray every day. How do you incorporate prayer into your daily routine? Lucy gets up barely and stretches her arms and just, oh, I don't want to get up, but I got to get up. And mom makes you get up.
Mm-hmm.
So now your feet are on the ground and you're moving. How does your day go? Where do you fit prayer into that?
So I pray every night before bed and before I start my day and before I eat my meals.
Really? Okay. That's good. You're pretty consistent with that routine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget a little bit.
Yeah, really. But you can usually make that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Jude, how do you incorporate prayer into your daily routine? Do you pray every day?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. When is your favorite? Hey, listen. When is your favorite time to pray? Name a time during the day. I know of at least 2 times that you pray during the day. When do you pray?
No God.
No, what times? When do you pray? Do you pray when you go to bed?
Pray. You can sweat in closet.
In Costco? What did you
In
say?
the closet.
And you pray in the closet? When do you go in the closet to pray? Which is very biblical, by the way.
Two. I don't know 1, 2.
Oh, you can't say that. I gotta edit that. Oh, you foul-mouthed child. Okay, so you go in your closet and pray. Why do you go in your closet and pray?
Because I want to play.
Well, we'll go with that. What about before you eat? Do we say prayers before we eat?
When I eat Bobbies?
When you eat at Bobby's.
No, when I eat Bobbies.
When you eat Bobby's. The restaurant.
Burger and fries.
When you have a burger and fries, you pray. Do you pray every time? Do you pray when you eat pizza?
What?
Do you pray when you eat pizza?
No.
So you only pray for the burger and fries.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. All right. What are some challenges you face in maintaining a consistent prayer life?
I think a lot of people have already touched on like distractions.
Yeah.
That's one of the
That's
big
been a
ones.
big one.
And like after I had first been baptized, it was like I didn't know how to pray. So that really hindered me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've been learning, and especially this year, I've been learning a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gotten easier to do.
Yeah.
It's like
with anything. For those of you that don't know, Lorelai is a very accomplished multi-instrumentalist. She's percussion, she does her bell kits, she does her drum kit, she does violin, she's learning cello. She's just all over the place, crazy talented in music. But you didn't just pick those up and know how to do them, right?
no.
No, you didn't just get those medals for showing up, did you?
No.
No, you had to earn those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like with anything, it takes practice, consistency, practice. It takes dedication. Same thing with prayer life. It's not any different. I mean, I'm considerably older than you, and I'm still learning. As a matter of fact, the deep dive that I've done this year, thanks to our theme in the youth group, has greatly improved and helped my prayer life.
Me too.
Yeah, good. I want that. I want that across the board. Hopefully, it's helping everybody. Hopefully. All right. So, what are some challenges you face in maintaining a consistent prayer life? It's kind of hard to be consistent, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you have a daily routine, I know, and I know what your daily routine
Hmm.
is because mom's pretty good about getting you to stick to it. But what are some challenges what are some hurdles that you have to jump in order to keep your prayer life consistent?
Getting distracted is the main one because I like to. Phones are a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Video
Y'all love your
games.
phones, don't you?
Yeah.
Video games, yeah. We
Yeah,
have
and
a
it's
lot of those.
scary. Like what they do with phones now is like, um,
But you don't do any of the bad stuff, right?
no.
Good. That's
I try to stay as far as I can away from that, and you help me with
good,
that,
girl.
so that's
Well,
good.
we try.
Yeah.
We try.
Yes. So getting distracted was one of them. Forgetting. That's the worst feeling when you forget to pray.
Yeah.
And you wake up, you're like, oh, I forgot to pray. And it's just like, it's a burden, but when you actually pray that day, you're like, oh, I prayed. I'm going to continue to do this.
Yes.
So, yeah,
It's a good feeling, right?
it's a very good feeling.
Yeah, almost like a relief of a burden, right?
Yes.
You let go and let God. Yeah, that's a great thing. So, what are some challenges you face in maintaining a consistent prayer life? You said sometimes you forget to pray.
Yeah,
What are those things that can get in the way of that?
Plans that you have.
Plans that you have? Like maybe you got so busy you forgot,
Mm-hmm.
distracted maybe. Yeah, that happens to everybody eventually. How do you get around those things? I mean, later on, you probably realize, hey, I probably should have prayed a little bit more today, and then you try to do better tomorrow. Is that one thing you do, or
Yeah.
yeah, kind of? Jude, what are some challenges you face in maintaining a consistent prayer life? You're 6 years old. I can tell you the challenges that you face. Um, so I already asked you, do you pray every day? And you said, sometimes, yeah.
Dad, I do this.
Can you share a specific example of a time when prayer made a noticeable difference in your life?
Well, the one I wrote down was like college.
College work?
Yeah, like
Uh-huh.
before exams,
Yeah.
because those were really stressful.
Yeah. You talked about it earlier a little bit about how um, prayer can help you with your anxiety and has helped you with your anxiety in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've got the stress of getting, especially you now that you know what finals are all about, you know that life. You understand now. Of course, you're old enough to know when Daddy was finishing his degree. You can tell when I was stressed out real bad for finals, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And you know why now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole other level. But yeah, that's a great time to pray.
Mm-hmm.
Not only to pray for, recollection of the things that you've studied and, to do well and all that stuff, but in doing that, it kind of helps with that anxiety. There's a relief there to know that who's in control of everything ultimately, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but does that make
Yeah.
that's kind of what you're after? So, can you think of a specific example of a time when prayer made a noticeable difference in your life?
I think one time somebody came forward or something, and I was just praying for them, like my own little prayer. I was realizing I should do this more often. This feels good. Like this motivates me, and this will help other people. I know it will. I think I know who the person was. I'm not gonna say any
No, I
names,
wouldn't.
of course. Yeah, it was a Sunday. I know that, but yeah, it helped me because when you see other people being courageous and doing other things to get to heaven, it really motivates you to want to get there too. So I think that's what made me really want to pray.
Can you share a specific example of a time when prayer made a noticeable difference in your life?
Every time when I'm upset.
Every time you're upset?
Not really a specific time.
But you can't tell because right now she's a lantern, but Lucy's a redhead. So there's a little bit of a reputation with redheads and getting upset, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, people do call you a leprechaun.
A
So
leprechaun. Do you like it when people call you a leprechaun?
not at all.
Not at all. You get upset sometimes, right? And
Mhm.
you say that's when that helps. That's when it's noticeable.
Mhm.
What does it do? Does it kind of calm you from being upset?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're after with that? Jude, can you share a specific example of a time when prayer made a noticeable difference in your life?
I don't know what that
Do
means.
you ever remember a time when maybe you were scared or maybe you were sick and you prayed
It's this the same time. You said
at the same
this
time?
one already.
I said this one already? I kind of did. I can see where, yeah.
Why is it light flashing my eyes?
It's not in your eyes, your head's turned.
My eyes are flashing.
Oh. Okay. All right. What is your favorite prayer in the Bible and why?
John 17.
John 17, you want to read it? Let me find it.
It's right before Jesus got betrayed and arrested in Gethsemane.
Okay.
You want me to read all of it, or just parts?
Starting where, babe?
John 17,
Verse.
the entire
The entire thing? Oh, the high priestly prayer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You know that one's my favorite.
My favorite part, especially, is where like he prays for everyone in the future, like all who will believe in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like verse 20 is, I do not pray for these alone, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they all may be one, as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that you sent me.
Yeah. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
It's a selfless thing. That's what I like about it too, because he's praying for, and it goes deeper. It shows. I mean, we already know how much Jesus loves us. He died for us. But the concern that he had while he was here on earth, before when during this, during his ministry, and then later on, after he was resurrected, he showed that he cared, even beyond dying for us, which was a debt none of us can ever repay. But in that prayer, showing concern for people that haven't even been born yet, people in the future, those who haven't even believed yet, it just shows this care and concern for all of us in this entire world.
Yeah, especially since it's like before he went to die on the cross.
Yeah.
It's right before then.
Yeah. What is your favorite prayer in the Bible and why?
Probably Jonah's prayer. And I actually didn't really have a favorite prayer in the Bible until like you handed me this sheet of paper.
So you had to think about it?
Yeah, and then I looked at Jonah's prayer, I was like, that actually is pretty meaningful to me because he prayed for repentance. And he did this long, lengthy prayer where he poured out his burdens to God. And he said, okay, I'm really sorry for what I did. I was kind of acting mean. And God was like, okay, you're my child, so I will forgive you and I will give you mercy. And that's a beautiful thing to have.
Mercy.
Yeah,
mercy. It's better than wrath. It's better than what we deserve, right?
Yeah. Couldn't imagine.
No. If we got what we deserved, that would be bad. That's why by the grace of God, we have been given mercy. So in that stress, when you're worried about that type of thing, you always have that thought of mercy when we should get justice.
Yeah.
What is your favorite prayer in the Bible and why?
It's Matthew 6, 9 through 13.
Matthew 6, 9 through 13. Do you want to read it or you want me to read it?
You can read it.
I can read it. Okay. Matthew 6, 9 through 13. Pray then like this: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day your daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. So that's what's referred to often as the model prayer, right? Why is that one your favorite? The basicness of it, the kind of the foundation of it's kind of Jesus showing you kind of the blueprint
Yeah.
of being thankful in there, kind of showing people how to pray. Is that because you're kind of starting at the basement level there to build on? You like the basicness of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what is your favorite prayer in the Bible? Did you know that there's many different prayers that are in the Bible? Examples of prayers?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Do you have a favorite prayer in the Bible?
No. I mean, yes.
Which one?
Genesis?
Genesis. Jude's favorite prayer is Genesis. Oh boy.
Is there 100?
Listen, VBS is next week. At the time we're recording this, VBS is next week. You got a lot of learning to do, buddy. You're going to have to pay really close attention because we're going to talk about prayer. It's the whole thing, okay? What advice would you give someone else to help them cultivate a more meaningful prayer life?
We kind of talked about it earlier. It's like you have to practice it.
Yeah.
Like you can't just play an instrument automatically. So it's like get started and then you'll get better as you keep going and as you keep learning.
Yeah, very good. So, in other words, persistence, consistency, just stick to it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you, Laurel. I appreciate it. That was very helpful. Hopefully, it'll
was
help
fun.
someone else. Did you enjoy that? You'll have to come back on again sometime, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Deal. Let's shake on it. All right. Thanks, dear. What advice would you give someone else to help them cultivate a more meaningful prayer life?
It's hard for me. I'm not very good at giving advice, I will say, but like on when you said how do you incorporate prayer into your daily routine? When I said like do it when you wake up, when you lay down, when you eat, when you feel stressed, when somebody needs prayed for, I think that's a really good habit, personally.
All right. Well, that was all the questions that I've got for you. You got any parting words about prayer that you'd like to share with anyone?
Did you think to pray? Did you think to pray today?
What advice would you give someone else to help them cultivate a more meaningful prayer life? So you're not super old yet. You're the youngest of the girls. You're not a teen. You're barely a preteen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't feel probably like you can give anyone advice, do you? What? Let me tell you something. I mean, you can. You're a good example to people, whether you mean to or not. But people do look to you and see an example of how to be sometimes. I've gotten compliments for you before. Never neglect the example that you set for others, even for people older than you. Just like Timothy, that's one of my favorite go-tos. You've heard us talk about Timothy. You remember VBS lessons about Timothy. Timothy, when he got into the middle of the action here, he was not old man. He was rather young man, right? So don't feel like you can't contribute. Don't feel like people don't look to you as an example. Now, you're not really probably when you think of wisdom, you usually think of what old man with the beard. It's that kind of thing. Is that kind of what goes with that? No. What do you think of when you think of wisdom?
Being smart, I guess.
Being smart.
Like wise.
Usually from just having lived life and having examples to go off of. Yeah, that's usually what that comes from. But the more life you live, the more examples that you live through, the more things that you do, you'll rack up experience and you'll be able to give plenty of advice to other people. So, or right now you start thinking about that and start thinking of, what would I tell somebody? How would I help my friends? My friends, I wanted to have a conversation with them about prayer. They're not really sure what to do, how to do it. What advice would I give to them? That's the way you kind of have to think about it sometimes. Does that help?
Yeah.
Kind of give you an idea? Well, thank you very much for being with me today. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me torture you. I know you're tired. You keep blinking. You look like you're about to go to sleep. Is that why you don't want to be on camera? You're
A little
sleepy?
bit, yeah.
You're usually hamming it up. You're usually the little diva in the camera, but not tonight, right?
Mm.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Oh, this is great. What advice would you give someone else to help them cultivate a more meaningful prayer life? Jude, if you wanted to talk, do you ever talk to your friends about prayer?
No.
No. You don't ever
Sing
talk
sometimes?
sometimes. Would you tell them that it's a good thing to pray?
Can you see my tongue?
Can I see your tongue? Oh, wow, this went well. Jude, you said you were going to talk about what you wanted to talk about. What did you want to talk about? The ark? What about the ark? Noah's Ark or the Ark of the Covenant?
Noah's Ark, and he built Gopher Wood.
Gopher wood. What's gopher wood?
What? From a tree? You chainsaw?
Noah used a chainsaw?
No.
Okay.
He chainsaws on the ground.
The chainsaw's on the ground?
I don't like this.
All right. Well, thank you, Jude. Much appreciated.
Is it done?
You are.
Yeah?
Are you ready to go to bed?
Cuddle.